Here to present to you on the topic, going back to going back to the farmlands, going back to our origin of where we once came from or what we once were a part of. So grant me to be able to share my screen as we go through some PowerPoints as to the importance of farming. I am Sister Karen Joseph from Antigua. I love farming. I delight in nature, in being a part of it, in growing, in preserving, and um, for me, farming teaches you a lot of things where God is concerned. I find that it is a way to connect to God and who He is because He's a creator. And farming is from the origin, from when we go way back into the book of Genesis, right into the beginning, where we looked at Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, where the Lord God took man and placed him in the Garden of Eden. And he said, work it and keep it. And therefore, we would have gotten our food, our source, our bread, whatever it is, it would have started then. I remember some time ago going to the hospital and, looking around, just sitting, and I was there for other reasons. I was there, and the majority of persons were there because of their eating habits. And I said, we need to go back to where God started us so that we can have a healthier lifestyle and be able to operate and function better in the kingdom of God. So let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Lovely, lovely. So going back to our, I'm trying to remove. Right. Going back to our roots of agriculture, agriculture is life. Agriculture is life. And I set it on, the introduction says, wherever I go, I plant a garden. This is my brother's yard, and we work together there to put a garden together because there must be something growing. There must be something growing no matter what. And there is a call to connect with the land, to honor our heritage, to build a sustainable future for the Caribbean and beyond. And we have moved so far from that. We have moved so far from the beginning of knowing that we are where our food comes from. The bio would have stated that I would have taught from preschool, believe you me, from 2+ I started teaching, and now I am teaching at the tertiary level. And when I was teaching within the preschool level and the primary school level, and you would ask the students, where do your food come from? And they will say, the supermarket. They had no understanding of the garden. They had no understanding of what the garden looks like in terms of the food, of what the different food looks like that comes from the garden. They have no understanding of that. And that would have been perhaps 15 years ago, that kind of stuff, when I was teaching in the primary school and preschool then. So I can imagine now what it is like asking these children, where do your food come from? Because now I am engaging with adults, and you have adults, I'm sure there's some of you on the platform as well, who have never seen how a broccoli grow. You have never seen or understood where the potato grows or how to grow it. There are a number of vegetables that you say, I didn't know that was how that was grown, you know, and it causes us to reflect, pause for a while and reflect upon your own understanding of the garden, your own children's understanding of the garden. So we see agriculture has from being the beginning, the foundation of civilization. It is where our food comes from. Many individuals were employed back then in agriculture. Millions worldwide are engaged in agriculture at different various levels, because now agriculture spans out to not only just the soil, dealing with the immediate soil, but we now have agro-processing, we now have technology in agriculture, we now have different creative innovations in agriculture we can be a part of. Agriculture don't just stand, okay, it is soil, because many persons, believe you me, they have this negative view of soil, dirty, it's dirt, it's yucky, I don't want to touch it, the sun is hot, I don't want to be in the sun all day, I don't want my children to have that kind of lifestyle. But guess what? Many persons are going back to that original standpoint of wanting to have a farm, because many persons are realizing that farming has money. Farming has money, and I want to get a hold of that money. Farming can be used for in different raw materials to use globally in different factories. I mean, when you think of almost anything, think of almost anything that you can come up with in your household, in your refrigerator, the things you eat. Where did it originate from? Some form of raw product. Some form, whether from the sea, from the land, from a river, somewhere it was a raw material at one point, and somebody harvested it, somebody took it from its origin and formed it into what you are now eating. The years ago, we were placed in the garden, our grandparents. Here is mom, here in the garden, weeding away. She enjoys it every day. She goes out every day, visits it, see what's taking place, update me by the time I get home. Karen, this is not running well. This is not doing well. Oh, I saw some butternuts, blah, blah, blah. She enjoys it thoroughly. I find that it is one of the most relaxing thing that you can do. For some person who say, no, no, no. But for me, garden is my go-to. I get lost in the garden. I enjoy it. It is the area for me to just go and just, just be able to sometimes just be alone, talking with my plants. Yes, talking with my plants and listening and hearing what is it that I need to do to them. Our roots run deep. Our early Caribbean societies thrive because of farming. We used to barter back and forth. I need some green fig from you. You need some fish from me. Let us exchange. Agriculture enabled permanent settlement, trade routes, and rich cultural traditions that define our identity today. Going way back to slavery time when they brought us down to run the sugar plantations and the different things. And it was agriculture that we were all doing, because they knew that it was a sense of bringing persons together. It was a sense of creating money, job opportunities. It was the foundation of who we are as human beings. Agriculture, over 1 billion plus persons are employed in the agricultural sector. 70% of our freshwater use is consumption worldwide where agriculture is concerned. The global GDP sharing in developing nations, agriculture contributes 1/3 of the total economic output. Staple crops, wheat, rice, maize, feed millions of people every single day. Every single day. We consume large amounts of rice, of wheat, of corn products. You think of the number of corn products that you eat in a single day. Corn flakes, cornmeal, and you turn it into fungi or whatever it is that you call it. We consume large amounts of staple food. We turn the wheat into bread, and now bread has become all sorts of different versions that we have now that we consume. Flour on a wide basis. And so therefore, if you were to just sit and think about your day, can you survive without agriculture? We tell our children, don't do agriculture, but can you survive one day? I'm giving you one day to survive without agriculture. Don't eat anything. Don't drink anything. Don't breathe the air. Just survive without agriculture, and tell me how it is by the next day. Food security, feeding our people. A strong agriculture sector means a fed population, and this is the point that we need to get as a community. We need to get into an avenue where we have food security that starts from our household and it expands into the wider community. Many persons talk about food security. Food security, we need our country to have food security, blah, blah, blah. But where does it start? It starts with you. It starts with you asking yourself, how can I feed myself if the country was to shut down for 10 days? How will you be able to feed yourself? Can you step out into the backyard and pick a corn like I'm doing here? Can you step out into the backyard and say, okay, cucumbers take 6 weeks to grow. Let me start to dig up a little area that I have, plant some seeds, and I will have cucumbers in 6 weeks. What can you do as each individual who is on this platform to ensure that your household is food secured? You have enough food to feed your family. You have enough water to supply your family. You have enough meat to supply your family. What can you do? Local farmers ensure staple foods are always available regardless of global consumption. Yes, they try. They try. It may not always be at the top, but they try. Growing our own food keeps money in our communities and builds self-reliance. COVID came, and I will always refer to COVID whenever I speak of agriculture. I am of the opinion that COVID was a test and that something somewhere down the line is going to come more severe than COVID. And what are we going to do? Years ago, we all used to have a backyard garden. We talk about our grandmother's backyard garden, our grandfather's backyard garden. I remember going down in Five Islands to the farm where my uncle, my grandma, all of them had this farm, and they will be gathering crops. We help in the farm. We take them to the market. We sell. You have for yourself. You barter with the other individuals in the village who have and who don't have. Everybody was a part of it. And Five Island was a fishing village. So we had fish. We had many other things that came from the sea that we ate. We had farm animals that they have particular individuals who we kill and sell, and we barter among ourselves. We buy from each other. It was a self-sustained village. Then persons started to evolve. Tourism came in, crept in. There's nothing wrong in tourism, but it crept in a way that taught us that it was better than farming. Other job sectors opened up, and persons started thinking it would be easier for me to sit in an office than in the hot sun. It would be easier for me to allow somebody else to pay me than for me to work hard to get produce to take to the market. It would be easier. We told ourselves that until COVID came. When COVID came, we were restricted to going to the supermarket and buying food. We were asked to buy the things that were most important. And I am sure that when any one of you went to the supermarket back then, that the most important thing was not necessarily a book. It was not necessarily, let's say, a set of documents that you needed from the office or anything like that. It wasn't these things when you went out. It was, I need food. And food like flour, you needed flour to ensure that you had something to make bread or dumpling or whatever it is. You wanted some form of meat. You wanted some form of vegetables. You needed the important things. There were even persons who had success businesses growing out of COVID as a result because they started something and realized, I love this, and they continued. I started a business during COVID called Coasis. We started out first because I said to myself, Karen, going to the supermarket, it was a rush. It was jamming. They were letting a list at a time. There were hardly anything that you could have gotten during that time. And I said, but Karen, it takes 6 weeks to grow lettuce, 6 weeks to grow cucumbers, that kind of thing. I can grow these things and have vegetables rather than trying to fight my way into a supermarket. And we started as a family. We started with one bank. Then we say, hey, let me add on 2 more banks. And then suddenly the entire yard was filled with over 50 different varieties of fruits and vegetables. And the main one was lettuce. And then we started supplying neighboring supermarkets and restaurants with the lettuce. And the business thrived well. Now, there were other businesses that did the same. And then COVID ended. And instead of us continuing, many of us reverted back to what we saw was easy. We called easy. Was it really easy? I would beg to differ. Having fresh local vegetables will help to combat malnutrition among our children. I'm starting from the children. Because our society now, we are so engaged in everything else except giving our children fruits and vegetables to eat. I don't eat this. I don't like this. I tell persons, start small. Start very small. What you've seen before, yes, you have a very big chicken pen on this side, but in the middle, use what you have. I always say to persons, these are containers. This is like a drum that was cut in half. And in each of these drum, you could find some form of herb. Like you have onion chive in the first one, you have garlic chive, you have thyme, celery, oregano, all the different season that you want for your kitchen were in these. In the black containers at the back here, these 5 black containers, big flower spot, you have ginger in one, believe you me. You had sweet potato in another. You had turmeric in another. And you had, I think we had 2 containers of sweet potatoes and 2 containers of ginger. Simple stuff. Because persons will say, but I don't have no area to dig up around my yard. You don't need to dig up an area. You can do container gardening. These are chickens, broiler chicks. Broiler chicks, and some persons may not know, the chickens that you eat, it only takes 6 weeks from baby to the time you put it on your plate. 6 weeks. If you want to go longer than that, you can extend it to maybe about 7, maybe 8 weeks. After that, you might start to have health issues like heart attack and so on. But you have 6 weeks in which you can get, based on your family size, 3 chickens, 2 chickens. You place them in a small area. You keep the area well sanitized in terms of changing the litter so it doesn't have a smell. And within 6 weeks, you can be slaughtering your own chicken that you can put in your freezer, and you do another set, you put in your freezer, and that allows you to have enough food to sustain your own family. Because again, I ask you, where do we start? These vegetables here came from the garden that you saw at the top where mom was. Our corn, I just picked this corn today, fresh today. My brother is roasting it. And then we have our butternut. We had some already, we cooked a set already, and now there's another set there to be cooked. You can do small spaces. This second picture shows you small spaces that you can do to occupy different crops that you will want to use. So you don't have to have a big space. How big is your family? That's something you need to think about. How big is your family? If you are living in a family of 5, you don't need to be planting more than 5 lettuce at a time. You don't need to be planting more than 5 cucumber trees at a time or 5 tomato trees at a time. It will give you more than enough plants to sustain your family. Farming in harmony with nature. Sustainable agriculture is not just about feeding people. It's about protecting the ecosystem that sustains us. From soil health to biodiversity, responsible farming is our greatest climate tool. Agroprocessing and crop rotation restore soil fertility. Agroprocessing, agroforestry, and crop rotation. When you are deciding to plant, you don't use up all the spaces at once. Leave one area. Remember back in the Bible, and we go back into the Bible when God spoke to the children of Israel about resting the land for a 7-year period, that kind of stuff. You are able to, it says a Sabbath year rest, and it is factual. You do not just keep planting and planting. When you do that, you are weakening your soil. You rest an area for a while. So you're going around in rotation, and that helps to preserve your soil. That helps you to improve your soil quality as you go along. Sustainable practices reduce greenhouse gas emission. That's a big thing that is taking place now, to the point that we have what we call acid rain coming down, back down. As what goes up, it comes back down in the rain. And so instead of having pure rain, nice, wonderful rainwater we can drink, it contains all forms of chemicals that we don't even want to think about. Planting green areas around you helps you to keep your surroundings, your environment cleaner, clearer, less pollutants. Biodiversity is protected through diverse planting. Don't just plant one thing, plant a variety. It helps with the preservation of your soil. It helps to put back certain nutrients into the soil, like the nitrogen fixation back into your soil when you plant the legume plants. Agriculture is central to climate adaptation strategies. My big brother does say everybody must work. And this is a picture of all of us still in the area, that same green area that you're seeing above. This is how it started. We had tires going right around. And then we started digging our banks coming down, the entire family taking part. Culture, community, and identity. Farming is more than an occupation. It is living tradition. In the Caribbean, agriculture practices carry the stories, flavors, and wisdom of our ancestors. Every harvest is a celebration of who we are. It gives you joy to be able to eat what you would have gathered from your garden. It gives you joy to know that our topic is family. Our focus in bringing the family together. Farming is another way of getting your family involved, getting them to be a part of something that means something. It can also be used to speak about the word of God. Farming can be used to unite families together. We all come together to put this garden together, and when the produce come forth, we share. We share among the different families. Rural communities. Farming strengthens the social fabric of villages and towns across our islands. Elders pass down techniques, recipes, and land wisdom to the next generation, which is what we are doing here. Traditional crops and methods preserve our unique Caribbean identity. Within each of the Caribbean countries that we have, each of us can perhaps identify a crop or a source, some form of animal source that each Caribbean can say, this is that country. If I say Aki, what country are you gonna call to me?
Jamaica.
Jamaica. Thank you. If I say nutmeg and spices.
Grenada.
Thank you. How about the black pineapple?
Yeah. Antigua.
Thank you. Antigua. Yes. Most of our Caribbean countries can be identified by some form of agricultural product, whether we're taking it from the sea, from the land, from the rivers, we can be identified by some shape or form of agriculture. A sad thing that takes place is that many times we do not pass on what we would have learned. Many times we do not pass on what the elders would have taught us because there's a gap. And I'm not sure if most of you can see or understand the gap between the generation that is now coming up, the generation that they will say born in the 70s and the generation before. There's a gap. Something was not passed on. And again, I thank the Lord for allowing me to teach between preschool to now tertiary, because I'm able to see the generation and how the gap was formed. I remember teaching while I was teaching in primary school, and that generation came in, the parents for that generation, and that this was, I'm talking 15 years ago, came in and they were like, I don't want my child in the sun. That's slavish mentality, that's hard work. I don't want them touching any soil. Another thing that they will say is, my child not getting any licks. I'm not beating my child. Nobody touched my child. I got enough blows to me and them. I just tell people, I didn't get enough blows to me and them. I got enough blows to me. My children will get what they're supposed to get. You understand? And we come up with this mentality. And now we are struggling in our families, trying to figure out what happened. What happened was that we removed ourselves from the foundation, thinking that it was too much, it was too hard. A foundation is a foundation. It can never be too hard. It can never be too much. What you got belong to you. What your parents got belong to you. Share it. Pass it along. Do not ever say that you got enough for you and them. No, don't say that. What you got belong to you. Agriculture is becoming very modern. Very, very modern. We have hydroponics and aquaponics. So persons who do not understand the difference, hydroponics is basically growing in plants in water, whether you're growing it in a film of water or whether you're growing it in a deep system where you have large amount of water. Just using water alone, that is hydroponics. When you're going to include fishes, and some persons do other things like shrimp in other parts of the world and so on. But when you're going to include fishes, it is called aquaponics. So what you have is you have a combination or a unity between the fish and the plant. So you have a fish in one set of tanks and they're living and feeding, and that water is transferred and it goes through a process which now feeds the plant, and then the cycle comes back around again. So you have a cycle going on within a small space. And as you see here, it is able to go very high. It is able to go very low. It depends on the space you have and what you want to grow within your area. So agriculture is no longer just the soil as person will see it. It has evolved into different areas. We have agri-processing, adding value to your raw products such as juicing, drying, packaging, creating different form of chips. We now have plantain chips, breadfruit chips, green banana chips, cassava chips, you name it. We are moving into innovation meets tradition. Where innovation meets tradition, we have technology. Our technology is transforming agriculture, making it more efficient, productive, and climate resilient. Because, of course, we have the atmosphere is changing, and now what we are trying to do in agriculture is that we're trying to find the best possible way to grow certain crops. Years ago, my forefathers, and I'm sure before, I've never heard them talking about growing broccoli in Antigua. We've never heard of growing blueberries or even apples and even strawberries in our Caribbean countries. And now technology has changed and we are now able to grow these crops right in our own backyard. The Caribbean can lead this revolution by blending innovation with our deep farm roots. Climate-smart farming adapts to population growth and changing weather patterns. And we see how much our weather now is changing. And we ask ourselves, what can we do? And it comes with many varying different things. It comes with disease. It comes with various pests, various disease. And it pushes us even more as agriculturalists to find ways in which we can preserve what we have. And in using the word preserve, one of the biggest one on my heart, my mind, is the whole aspect of preserving seeds. Preserving seeds, preserving what belong to us. Antigua is known for its sweet black pineapple. It is grown on the southern side of the island, which is towards Old Road, if persons know how Antigua is. And they will say it is the sweetest pineapple in the world. I haven't at all, but it is very sweet. It tends to be very condensed, I find, the sweetness of it and that kind of stuff. And over the years, because they will say because of the volcanic side of the island and the nature of the soil on that side of the islands is the reason why that pineapple is like that. Now, over the years, persons, became uninterested. I keep saying, your vision is not somebody else's vision. The vision that you might have years ago and push it, someone else comes and it is not the same vision. And so things can go wrong very fast. And so now we have lost quite a bit of our original agriculture, our original black pineapple. And now I went somewhere to buy some, I saw some pineapple and I said, the guy said to me, oh, buy some pineapple, oh, nice, sweet black pineapple. I look at him, I look at the pineapple, I said, that's not black pineapple. He knew exactly that I knew what I was saying. He didn't say anything else after. I said, that is not black pineapple. Because what they have done, they have taken a part of the pineapple. We have heard the term tissue culture. And they are now trying to get back our where we were, go back to where we were. You can't go back to where we were without the original pineapple. And so in changing up and putting it through the process, you now have a mixture of something what the Hawaiian pineapple looks like or the other pineapples looks like and what our pineapple looks like. There's a mixture. So it is not the original black pineapple. Now, please understand that what is taking place in the world today, and many of you go to the supermarkets, you know what you look for? The seedless grapes. You look for things that don't have anything because you don't want to deal with the seed. I want to just bite into my grapes and eat and not have to deal with the seeds. I want a seedless watermelon. I want a seedless everything you want seedless. Do you know what not having a seed mean? What is the whole meaning of a seed? Can anybody tell me?
To continue production or to continue the product, the
Thank
food,
you.
the plant.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Yes, reproductive system. That's how you reproduce the fruit.
Yes, thank you very much. So now, imagine you wanting a seedless fruit. How are you going to reproduce that fruit? You open a pawpaw now. Oh, I want that nice juicy pawpaw. You cut the pawpaw open. There are no seeds in it. How are you going to reproduce your own food if you do not have any seeds? And that is exactly where society is taking us, to a seedless society, where we are being controlled to say who gets what and who don't get what. And if you do not have the understanding of farming, you are going to perish very fast. You are going to, because where are you going to get the seeds from to grow, to start your own farm, to be able to have food for your country, food for your family? Where are you going to get those seeds from? If it is that when you cut a tomato and there are no seeds, before time you used to take the seeds, our grandmothers used to take the seeds, our grandfathers, our ancestors used to take that seed, put it through a drying process, and then you have the seeds for yourself that you use to start again and to go again and to go again. But now we are having fruits with no seeds. We're having vegetables that are not producing any seeds. Where are we going from there? Starting your own farm or agro-processing. How can you get started? You may ask. First of all, you need to choose your focus. What do you want to do? Why are you going to start the farm? Is it to provide food for your family? Is it to gain an income, a second income? Is it to gain knowledge? What is your focus? What would your focus be? Would your focus be on crops or on livestock? Would it be on both? These are some of the questions you need to ask yourself. What are you going to use? Are you going to use small containers if it is just for your family? Do you have a space that you can dig up within your yard? Or are you thinking of going more wide scale? You want a larger plot of land in which you can gain a good income. Are you going to think about getting into hydroponics or aquaponics or even apiculture, which is which is bee production, honey production? What form of training do you have? And now training is at our fingertips. We can start small. You go, you type in, how can I grow lettuce? How can I so? AI gives you the entire explanation. You go, you gather your seeds and you start. We don't have to think about enrolling, which we can though, enroll in a course. However, we can find this information online to teach us how to do these simple little techniques. How can you get into food processing skills? Start it out for yourself. Start it in your own kitchen. Try a little thing. How does it taste? That's why we have our family unit. Our family unit will be our biggest judge. Let them taste it. What does it taste like? You know, how can I improve it? What do you think it needs to make it marketable? Then you start gathering your things together, whatever tools you need, whatever water system you need to put in place. What do you need to get started? How are you going to start the agro-processing? Whether drying the fruits, making juices, milling the flour, what are you going to do? How are you going to, what markets are you going to acquire, to go into? And I keep saying to persons, if you want to do well in agriculture, everybody can't go to the local market or to the side of the road and sit down. Become creative. Who is going to be your market? And before you start planting, because there's some persons, like there's one individual who I was trying to give some advice, and they wanted to start a farm. What can I do? What can I do? And he's like, oh, I'm Sister James, Sister Karen. I am, persons tell me if I do cucumbers, it will be quick and I will be able to get some money. I said, yeah, it will be quick. Yes, you will get some money. Where are you going to store them? Do you have the time to pick the cucumbers when they start coming? Who will you be selling those cucumbers to? Who is the market? And these are some of the things that we need to consider when we think about planting our own or having our own farm. Ensure that you have your seeds available. Ensure that you have a market available. So that when it is time, I tell people, I think that agriculture is one of those businesses or jobs or industry that you can couple with any job that you're doing. You name your job, I will couple it with agriculture for you. It doesn't matter. Just, you know what the only key thing you need to do? Choose your product wisely or choose your crop or livestock wisely based on your time. You can be a big businessman and run a farm, making some extra money. Easy, setting up the most important parts. This is a glimpse of our farm. It went from this to this in the middle. We have corn, we have anchovy or eggplants, we have cassava, we have butternut, we have sweet potato, we have pumpkin, we have dragon fruits, we have string bean. We have quite a bit in that small space, which all of us came together to put together and to have so that we can harvest and have some form of food. What is it that you are going to do? Are you going to do container garden? Are you going to do a wider farm where you want to have a particular product in place? You want to sell a particular crop? What is it that you want to put in place? I'm looking to see the picture got in or out. A simple method that you can do is always set up an irrigation system. These days, for persons who are busy, like myself and my family members, we're busy. And you say, well, you might not have the time to water. Set up a simple irrigation system, nice and simple, that you can manage. You just turn it on, it waters your plant, you turn it off after a couple of hours. You're inside, around your table, in your office, you're cooking your food, you're doing your things, you're doing whatever it is that you need to get done while your plants are being watered. Set up, learn, educate yourself as to how you can set up automatic feeders within your livestock area. How can you allow your livestock to work for you and not you work for your livestock? Same thing with crop production. Agriculture, for me, is life. I say that over and over again. Agriculture is life. Our future starts with us. It doesn't start with the government trying to put things in place and we coming on board. It starts with us. What can we do now? What can we do today to get started? How can we educate ourselves to ensure that our future, the next lockdown, the next time we hear that something not happening or boat not coming or something can't fly from here to there. I know for Antigua that's there. How am I going to get my own food? What am I going to do? You have layer birds. Those at the top in the pen with the chickens, they are layers. You can have these chickens here, they're the layers. Layer birds, a layer bird lays 1 egg per day. 1 egg per day. You do the maths. You have a family of 5. How many eggs do you eat within a week? You tell yourself, let me have 5 layer chickens in a nice small pen. That's 5 eggs per day. By the end of a 7-week, by the end of a 7-day or a week, at the end of a week, you have 35 eggs. Are you going to eat, your family going to eat 35 eggs in a week? I doubt it. You know what begins to happen? You now will begin to have eggs that you can share to your extended family. Perhaps even put it together and tell your neighbor you're selling eggs. So your first 2 neighbors around you start buying eggs from you. So you start getting back a little money to buy your feed again. Then you decide, let me add on 5 more chickens. You have 10. Now your production goes higher. And now you have a little side income coming in. Without disturbing the peace, without taking you away from your job, you are sustaining your family, you're providing an income. Agriculture, and I will say it over and over again wherever I go. Agriculture is life. It is one of the only jobs that you can couple with almost any job in the world because you are able to do it alongside another job without quitting. Agriculture brings families together, not just you going out and that kind of, get your children involved, get the entire family involved. Allow your family members to be a part of it. When you are finished, have a corn roasting day where you just sit outside and you roast corn and eat corn. What are you going to do? How are you going to function? For the elderly, many persons retire, they go home and they say, no, what am I going to do? They sat in an office for years. They didn't acquire any other knowledge. All they knew is what was in that office. The elderly, the agriculture provides a haven for persons who are retired, something that they can continue after retirement rather than just sitting at home. It creates an avenue for them to get up every morning, something to look forward to go into. There's so many different things that they can be doing to keep them active, to keep their minds going, to be a part of. And it also provides, again, an income for them. Agriculture, for us, we need to see it as not the end, but the beginning. We need to see it as our future, our today, not the tomorrow, but our today. You have to see agriculture as more than just food. It is our culture. It identifies us. It is the economy. It provides the monies. It identifies who we are as Caribbean people. It is our survival mode. Many persons did not think about opening a taxi job during COVID. We did not think about opening a lesson lawyer office during COVID. Person thought of, how can I start a garden during COVID? Returning to our roots will help to build resilience, strengthen communities, and secures a sustainable future for generations to come. Get your family, get your children back involved in agriculture. Don't leave it where it is. Don't think that it is a dirty job. Think of it as life. Invest in agriculture, support your local farmers and food systems in your community. Yes, there are supermarkets who would buy from the local farmers to sell over, but there are lots of supermarkets who they import their goods. Look for the supermarkets who have the local food. Look for those supermarkets and support them. Return to your roots on a traditional knowledge while embracing modern innovations. Go back to who you were, where you started. Sharing stories. Every seed planted today is a harvest of hope for tomorrow. Every seed. Without a seed, there's no tomorrow. Without a plants or crops or livestock, there is no tomorrow. When you were in school and you were asked to draw a food chain, everybody remember the food chain? What did you begin the food chain with? Nobody remembers?
Plants.
Plants. Thank you. Move to the head of the class. Plants, because they are producers. Everything else consumes, but plants produce. If you are not planting what is supposed to be producing, what are you going to have? Consumers that eat up everything and leave it bare? What are you producing? Plants are our producers. Are you a part of it? Are you a part of ensuring that your home, your community, your village, your country has food? Or are you a part of the 1 in a million? The millions that are consuming rather than producing. Thank you for listening. I will say again, agriculture is life. It is who we are as a people. And I will listen if you have any questions or comments on what was presented.